When I think about LeBron James and I think about this situation in particular, it looks bad on him with Darvin Ham. Number one, think about last year where the Lakers were at the All-Star break. Rob Pelinka make a couple trades. He bring in Rui Hachimura. He bring in D'Lo. Okay, cool. LeBron James was out majority of that second part of that season. Darvin Ham coached his behind off with Anthony Davis leading the way to get them into the play-in, into the postseason, and into the Western Conference Finals. Okay, coming to this season, LeBron James at the trade deadline was sending so many subliminals for Rob Pelinka to make a move because he knew that the Lakers did not have enough. He knew that he wanted a DeJounte Murray to come over, but Rob Pelinka held on to Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell because he knew that in the Western Conference he needed guys on the perimeter that was going to defend. So Darvin Ham he got the most out of what he had. And when you think about this roster, everybody kept saying, well, he's playing D'Lo and he's playing Austin Reeves so many minutes together. Why? Because they need spacing. And that was his only options. At the end of the day, man, I hate to say it, but I believe this in my soul right now. I wish LeBron James will retire. Not because I don't want to see more of LeBron James, not because I don't appreciate LeBron James, but I honestly believe deep down inside, the more LeBron James continue to play the game of basketball, the more it's going to hurt his legacy and the more it's going to continue to hurt his GOAT argument. Because as long as he steps foot on that floor, every single season, it's going to be expectations of him of winning a championship. And when he don't do that, we're going to be looking at him and saying, well, what happened now? So now you're looking at the Lakers. They're most likely going to re-sign LeBron James back this upcoming season. The coach that you bring in, if they don't make it to the finals or the Western Conference Finals, who's going to be to blame then? I have a problem, man. And I'm a little Toya Knucklet right now. I'm torn in between the two.
I think the thing is, when I look at it, it's just the level of expectations we have for a 39-year-old. We've never seen anybody in the history of the game have the level of expectations that LeBron James. Nobody expected this. Were you expecting Michael Jordan to get to the Eastern Conference Finals when he was in Washington, Perk? Yes, it's a simple yes or no.
No.
Let that sink in for just a second. LeBron James is the exact same age that Michael Jordan was when he was in Washington. And the level of expectations, we expect him to be an MVP. We expect him to get his team to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. Perk, a lot of what you said, yeah, the accountability. I can take it to mind when I played 14 years, Perk. Two of my worst moments, my most down moments, is when Dan Reeves, rest his soul, and Wade Phillips got fired on my watch. And there are a lot of times that I prayed to God, and I know this is an insignificant prayer. I said, God, why didn't you let me be better so I could have saved this man's job? It bothered me that Dan Reeves and Wade Phillips lost their job on my watch because I said if had I been better, had I been the player then, what I later became, maybe I could have saved him. I'm never going to say anything out of context that can be construed that Shannon is unhappy with his coach. Now, I understand. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I'm not trying to compare myself to LeBron James. I never would. I never had that level of ability playing the game of football like LeBron has in basketball. But I'm just trying to share you guys my mindset when I went to work every day. I gave you everything I possibly had, tried to lead the best way I could, play the way I did on the football field. But it bothered me. And I'm a big guy on accountability. Stephen A., if nothing else, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm never going to be too big. I'm never going to be too prideful. I'm never going to be too wealthy to say I'm sorry or I was wrong. Not enough athletes have that built like that. LeBron's problem is the accountability because he's saying cryptic and subliminal tweets. They're not even subliminal. You know exactly what he's saying because we've heard it for the better part of 20 years. So we know exactly what he means. We know exactly what he's saying. But the fact of the matter is that if he could have had Ty Lue or he could have had an Eric Spoelstra, do I believe LeBron James would have had more titles? Yes. But he has what he has. It is what it is. I don't think all those coaches hurt his argument. The only thing that hurts LeBron James is that they don't think we know that he's a large part of the reason why these coaches are no longer coach him. That's the problem that I have first and foremost.
Shannon, you said if he could have Eric Spoelstra, he would have more rings. Damn it, he had Eric Spoelstra. He chose to leave Miami.
And left.
He didn't want to play for Eric Spoelstra no more in that franchise because they wouldn't do it the LeBron James way because Pat Riley stood behind Eric Spoelstra. Okay, so when I think about the comments when you said, about Jordan and his expectations, you know why the expectations are different for LeBron James? Because LeBron James put these expectations. LeBron James put these expectations on himself. Because LeBron James is always calling himself on several occasions the GOAT. LeBron James is always speaking out about it. We don't hear Jordan calling himself the GOAT. Here's another thing. LeBron James, this is another thing, man, that I feel like is gonna hurt LeBron. We already know what type of basketball mind LeBron is. I think he's one of the most brilliant basketball minds that ever touched the damn basketball. But when you start making it a case where you're the smartest person in the room all the time, that's a problem. And that's hard for any coach to step into that seat and come in and try to hold you accountable. And I'm going to tell you one more other thing before I pass the mic to you, Stephen A. I'm watching this Nuggets and Timberwolves series. If Anthony Edwards lead the Minnesota Timberwolves past the Denver Nuggets, that's also going to look bad on LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers as far as the firing of Darvin Ham.
We're going to make sure that LeBron James' camp doesn't get to pull off what they will try to pull off. Because you see, the narrative is already we're blaming LeBron James for the firing of coaches. That's not what this discussion is. What this discussion is us debating that another firing that has occurred under his watch, whether or not that compromises quote-unquote GOAT status in the eyes of a Shannon Sharpe or Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. Smith and others. That is what the debate is. See, they'll leave. And what they'll say is, oh, LeBron James is getting blamed for the firing. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that you're not as innocent and you're not some just mere spectator in this whole scenario the way you try to pretend to be. That is what we're saying. We're not going to let LeBron James and his camp get away with that. We're not blaming him for the firing. What we're saying is you can't be as great as you proclaim to be, as we know you are, in today's NBA game, and be completely innocent and oblivious and distant, having nothing to do with the firing of yet another coach. That is impossible. That's all we're saying. But having said all of that, while acknowledging that that's a reality that he has to live with, there's a bigger narrative to touch on. And that is the fact that LeBron James has brought these debates on himself, Shannon, because of this insatiable appetite he has to control narratives. It's what he does. Nobody, I repeat, nobody, no star in the history of sports has gone about the business of methodically, systematically, continuously trying to control the narrative. And I have proof. That podcast that him and JJ Redick have, let me be the first to say, it's a great podcast. You want to learn some basketball, you listen to them brothers. I ain't throwing no shade on them. I love JJ and the job he's doing. I appreciate LeBron, his greatness, and his cerebral approach, educating us about the game of basketball. But why would you choose to do that in your 21st season approaching age 40? Because you know why? You want to make sure that you're the guy that gets to put your fingerprints on narratives, because you have proven throughout the years that you care about that. Well, we're here to say, yo, you got your approach, we got ours. You got your penchant for control of the narrative, we got ours. And oh, by the way, you're talking about you. So therefore, you ain't gonna be but so objective. We, on the other hand, are gonna be very objective. Shannon, you and I disagree. but we don't fail to acknowledge the greatness of LeBron James and how he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Kendrick Perkins, you are a friend. You've known this man for decades, which is why you repeatedly will tell people to kiss your ass when they come to you trying to tell you how you supposed to be talking to and about LeBron James. Who the hell are they? Because you know him. You see what I'm saying? But you've had to do it. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with that you, me, Shannon, or somebody else has put forth. This is what he does. This is what he has done. And there is no escaping that.
I believe two things. I believe two things can be true. I believe LeBron James is the GOAT, but I also believe he lacks accountability in the situation that we see right now with the Darvin Ham. It's been too many instances. Now, I get the Luke Walton situation. Stephen A., he wasn't there. That was not his guy. But the guys that get hired on his watch and are no longer there, he has to take some accountability for that. He's LeBron James. He's one of the two most influential players, maybe the top, Jordan and LeBron. Obviously, we know what Steph Curry would revolutionize the game. But we talk about influence that has influence over teams. It's him. And so all these coaches, and you didn't have no say.
Okay, when I look at the Lakers, I know for sure, right off the top of my head, the first 3 games of the series, they had double-figure leads, okay? One of those leads in game 1 or game 2 was a 20-point lead, okay? So my thing is, how do you not complete the mission as a player? When you have a 20-point lead and you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, that's on you to complete that mission. You better not give Anthony Edwards a 20-point lead against the Denver Nuggets because he's going to complete the mission. What I was trying to say is that my thing is when it comes down to it, it's the mindset of Anthony Edwards. And what I'm saying is Darvin Ham, in my opinion, when it comes to facing the Denver Nuggets, and this is the reason that he actually lost his job, was because of this series. That's my opinion of not being able to get up over the hump. Not having enough personnel, but at the same time was able to be in each game. 2 of those games they lost at the buzzer because of Jamal Murray over Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just blame that. It's unfair for them to blame that on Darvin Ham. Could he have done some other adjustments throughout the game?
Yeah.
Yes, I get all that. That's that point. But again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, Shannon, in SA. I'm to the point right now, because how active LeBron James is on social media and in the media now, I would love for him to say, you know what? I have done what all I needed to do for the game of basketball. Let me just walk away from it. Because I strongly believe as long as he continue to play, and go ahead.
You have your preferences, I have mine. Your preference would be for LeBron James to retire. My personal opinion is that I think LeBron James is too great, too phenomenal at this stage and point even in his career to walk away from the game yet. We will miss him when he is gone. This is not a brother that's fading into the twilight. He averaged over 25 and 7. This brother is still special. Now, if he was averaging 20 points and was struggling to do that, was struggling to get loose, couldn't play bully ball, couldn't be one of the NBA leaders in fast break points, fourth quarter points, and all of this other stuff, you'd have me. That is not the case. But I will say this, and this is going to be very unpopular, but you know me, I don't give a damn. Listen, I'm not anti-anything. I am not anti-anything. I swear to you, live and let live. I want everybody to get paid. The more fruitful we are as a society, the more people that benefit, the more peaceful we'll all be. But am I partial to the brothers? You damn right. And when I think about a guy like Darvin Ham in his second season and he's out of a job, it bothers me. Just like it bothered me when Adrian Griffin lost his job. I mean, it would be nice. Yes, LeBron hasn't spoken up for any damn coach. He really, really hasn't, But it would be nice to see him do it once, especially for a brother. I'm not going to lie to you. It would have been nice. That's just my preference. There's no crime that he didn't do it or anything like that. It's not a smear or tarnishing of his legacy or anything like that. But it would have been nice because we saw Michael Jordan. Now, Phil Jackson, I mean, my Lord. I mean, could you support a coach more than Michael Jackson?
Right.
Michael Jordan supported Phil Jackson? It would be nice. Patrick Ewing supported Jeff Van Gundy years ago. List goes on and on.
He spoke up for Doug Collins, too, Stephen A.
To see LeBron James do that. Yes,
Michael
he did.
Jordan
And he spoke up for Doug Collins. Listen,
and
Ime
Stephen A.
Udoka had his troubles. It would have been nice, Tatum or Brown. I'm not saying they didn't support him privately, but publicly it would have been nice to see that. I'm just seeing brothers be losing their job, and I don't see players standing up and saying, "Yo, we need him. This man better not go anywhere."
Right.
It would be nice to see that once.
Right. And look, Stephen A. Shannon, let me say why I want LeBron to retire again. It's not because I don't believe that he doesn't have more left in the tank. It's because of what Shannon talked about. It's the expectations. So every single season, because LeBron James has been so great, because he continues to put up numbers, because he's shown us that he continued to invest in his craft, every single season, especially when he have on a Laker uniform, for him, it's going to be championship or bust. Is it unfair? Is it unfair? Yes, but that's the reality of it. It's going to be that. Now, Stephen A. Shannon, to go to y'all point about speaking up for coaches, yes, I'm with you on that. I'm going to tell you what pissed me the hell off is that it's one thing for Darvin Ham to get fired, but it's another thing for Phil Handy to be let go by the Los Angeles Lakers. I have a damn problem with that. LeBron James, you done won 2 championships with this man. This man had an opportunity to go with the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard after they won the championship.
And you asked them to come. And you asked them to come.
And you don't stand up for him?
He asked them to come to Lakers.
If LeBron wanted Phil Handy there, he would still be there. I'm not saying the head coach, but damn it, an assistant coach. He's supposed to be on that staff.
He'll be back. Phil ain't going anywhere.